know the representatives of the UN family who are here, members of the diplomatic and consular corps, representative of network of HIV positives in Sierra Leone, esteemed colleagues and advocates in the fight against HIV and AIDS, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I bring you warm greetings from His Excellency the President and the government of Sierra Leone. You know, listening to everybody who was speaking, I was reflecting on something. When you have policymakers, also known as politicians, who are technical, you get what you just received. We heard the politician, the Minister of Health, who also is absolutely technical and one of the global leaders interview. And we also heard the Honorable Member of Parliament who spoke to us as a technical person. Now, this is not politics, this is governance. And there's a difference between politics and governance. Politics is when we campaigned and His Excellency set up a team of people. People chose, they voted how they wanted. Governance is when His Excellency puts together a technical, amazing team of humans, from the ministers to the MPs, who are such amazing technical humans. And I want to congratulate you in the Ministry of Health. And without that political leadership that's technical, we wouldn't be here. And I will not be in this room to make the commitments that I'm going to make on behalf of the government and on behalf of the people of this country. On that, I really want to start by talking about how delighted I am that we can be in this room to have such critical dialogue about the future of our national response to HIV and AIDS. Some of you may have the numbers and you will have seen where Sierra Leone has been in terms of the commitments and in terms of the efforts over the last couple of years and since 2018. But we're here today to start a journey on what we're going to do into the future. We can all sit here and applaud ourselves and tap ourselves on the back for a great work, which you have all done. But I think what I'm super excited about is that we know that HIV is still present in our country, it's still present in the world, and it will take all of us to come together to ensure that we can control and eliminate the danger that it raged across the continent in particular, and certainly that it does not affect and destroy our future. Now, we know, and the minister, the acting minister, the deputy minister was telling us about some of the numbers and statistics. We could assume that it's super low across the population as extrapolated by the studies and from the studies that were done. But we also know that among young people and among very specific populations in our country, and not in the village, in here in the Western area, we know that HIV/AIDS is prevalent among a certain group of young people. And not just young people. We know that HIV and AIDS is present. It may not have been like what we saw in the minister, Austin Demby, where he saw a stage 4 AIDS case in the rural area, not 10 years ago, but last year. Here's a stage 4 case that is happening in our rural areas. The tests that we're doing, that a certain set of the population have, then it means that we understand what is happening, have a conversation and dialogue as we are kickstarting. And we're not doing this because the UN is through our National Development Plan. It is our priority. We're doing it because the strategy of the Ministry of Health, because the vision of His Excellency on human capital development requires that we do this. Parts of the government's commitments to accelerate economic growth systems to develop a healthy and capable workforce for now and into the future. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as a country and as a government, we have made strides to ensure that we can implement in our international partners. As an example, the number of people who are on treatment has more than doubled since His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio came to power in 2018. That's not rhetoric. That's not a political statement. That's an investment that His Excellency and his government has done for the future of this country. And we, as a people, should be able to sit down and think about what that means for our people and the future of our country. There's a number that people speak about, 95, 95, 95. 95% of the population to be diagnosed, 95% in treatment, and I think 95% of those should have viral suppression. Now, the numbers in Sierra Leone, and I'm happy that part of this dialogue also requires studies, is that we're at 83%, 83, 83, 62. But those numbers need to change. And our aspiration, our goal, and embedding this within the National Development Plan, is that we as a team say we're not trying to hit 95, 95, 95. You said we want to hit 98, 98, 98. And it is possible. And it is possible because of the commitments and the collaboration that we expect out of this dialogue. And it is possible because the Ministry of Finance and the government has continued to invest in education. I definitely have to feel like a minister, former minister of education. But that the government will continue to invest in health, and in specific, the government has continued to increase its investment in HIV/AIDS as well, in the HIV/AIDS response. So we stand at a really pivotal moment, not just for Sierra Leone, but for the world. We saw that the attention of the world, maybe, the world has certain issues that it has to deal with and respond to. And the momentum, the financing, the mobilization that we saw in the 90s for HIV/AIDS in the early 2000s has gone down. But we cannot lower our guards. And that is why, yes, one of the meetings I had to send my apologies for was a meeting with His Excellency this morning. But that's why he could allow me to come and represent and be here, because he understands the impact and the value that our response, our commitment as a government has on the future of the people of this country. So I'm here very happy and honored that I could join you in witnessing the commitments from Ministry of Finance and many of the other people who have spoken. We therefore should use this opportunity, this engagement, to follow the lead of the Ministry of Finance. An opportunity to come together, an opportunity to make commitments on the vision and the hopes that will be powered by the HIV Sustainability Roadmap. And that will only come through partnership, dialogue, and inclusion. We will continue to thank the main funders, PEPFAR, the US government, Global Fund, who we engage with, and challenge the Secretariat to do more. You know, I mentioned earlier the difference between politics and governance. Our government is known for talk and do. We're one government. That's a principle and philosophy that we also promote. That's evident by seeing the level of people who are here across ministries, across government arms, and across development partners. I was very happy, and I think maybe you guys I didn't hear you clap for the Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance doesn't commit often, but I was very happy that they committed to financing and committed to putting improvements. You clap for them. We follow them as well to make sure they keep their money. I also UNAIDS director, executive director, for my office to offer people to be on those technical committees. I have technical people in the room from my office, and I commit in the same way the Ministry of Finance has shown us that my people will be there and to support you. Because of my role in government, I also, get to give tasks to different people in government. So Minister of Finance, of Health, please take a pen. This is going to be added to your mandates. I am committing on behalf of the Presidency, His Excellency the VP, myself, that the Ministry of Health will bring to Cabinet before time the sustainability roadmap for adoption by the government. And we certainly will make ourselves available to launching this by the time that it needs to be launched. Because I also, one government is not just one government within the executive. Honorable Member of Parliament, challenge accepted. The challenge you threw out for us to do more on mental health is accepted, and Ministry of Health, please also add, and I know that the Minister of Health has mentioned this, that the Lunacy Act of 1900s should not be in our books and should not be how we speak about mental health and wellness. So the Honorable Member of Parliament has made herself and Parliament available. And on behalf of the government and the executive, we're committing that we accept the challenge and we will ensure we have a new, responsible, progressive law on mental health in this country. We also will certainly update and work on the HIV law, which is out of date, to respond to the technologies, to respond to the financing, to respond to the treatment and the scientific methods that have been identified. The rest of my talk has been positive, but on a more positive note. When I think about the fight against HIV and AIDS, it's one of those fights that give me hope. We saw the photos on the magazine covers. We saw the news headlines. We heard about how it ravaged economies. The world came together. Activists, musicians in Africa, in Europe, politicians, some of the most amazing politicians spoke about their families being affected by HIV/AIDS. The sick, the scientists, everybody came together and said that as a world, we must ensure that people do not die needlessly from HIV and AIDS. It required cultural change. Societies that did not circumcise their boys started circumcising their boys because of the scientific link that was found. Then say saloon people, they don't like condom, eh? That's what the data said. What's that number? They don't like condom. Do ya? I want to talk to my saloon brother and sister then. Do ya want to use condom? It is important that we're able to understand that this is not just about protecting yourself, but it's about protecting our society. The enjoyment, fine, but even you get condom, then they allow you to enjoy, find one back. We for protect ourselves, and we for protect the people then. And it will be normal for me you do a test. It will be normal for me you ask you person where you're in, they do that business day. If you don't do a test, it will be normal that we as a people can have a conversation truly where no one is left behind, where everyone, no matter your economic status, no matter your education status, no matter your HIV status, everyone forget access to the care, forget access to the resources, forget access to the opportunity there. We will make them able to contribute, that we will get justice, that they are radical inclusion, that they make we deliver for ourselves and we deliver for the people there. I want to tell now, thank you. Thank you.